All right, so we're going to wait a couple moments for folks to get in, but it has been a beautiful Saturday here in Tennessee. We're going to have some bee talk, bee questions, talk a little bit about the Iowa conference I just got back from with Bob and Natalie and a couple other weirdos like John Hill and things like that. Got a couple of products over here. I'll probably show off just a little bit. I'm hoping to eventually get around to doing a video, probably after the first of the year. A lot of things are waiting till after the first of the year. Greetings from the Caribbean. All right. So, hey, that's a little bit of a stone throw away from Tennessee. Hope you guys are doing good. What's the weather like down there in the Dominican? Is it nice? Nice and warm? All right. Yeah, sorry about the lack of videos. I'm going to get on the videos soon. I've got so much content. I've got content from August that needs to go up. So don't be surprised if we don't get back to what we used to do. Used to we'd do almost 3 videos a week during busy season, and goodness gracious, it seems like forever, but it's really weird. A handful of years ago I never did anything like this, and then it became part of my life all the time, and then it's almost been kind of nice to have just a little bit of a break from it. Helps us kind of refocus and appreciate, and we plan on taking things up quite a bit in 2022 with everything from information to the video quality, just the whole 9 yards. But thanks everybody for being so patient with us. Jim Hughes, are you Cayman? I'm ready for the conference. Are you? The answer would be not if it was today. That is for sure. But it's coming along pretty good. Ah, you can still graft queens down here. All right. Well, that's a little bit warmer than it is here then. Michael Ellison, looking forward to hearing reports from the research yard. Yeah, I cannot wait to talk about those. I'm gonna once we release them, we'll have a live chat, and maybe I can, or Laurel can, post them up here, and we can, anyone who's like a little confused over them, we can kind of go through it. It should be pretty cut and dry. My name was mentioned in Bee Culture magazine. Huh. All good things, I hope. Um, Yes, yeah. So again, sorry it's been so long since I've been posting videos. I haven't been very regular on those. I'm gonna have a couple this weekend, and I have probably about 15 videos that I'm behind on publishing, but the conference has really taken so much time. Hey Curtis, it was good to meet you at the Iowa Honey Producers as well. That was a lot of fun. You never know what to expect when you go out to a conference, but it was a wonderful conference. I had a great time. And of course, you know, there was just a lot of folks there who apparently watched the videos, so that was nice. If they don't watch mine, they watch Bob's or Natalie's, and it was a lot of fun. Natalie um, picked on me quite a bit. She doesn't do it on the when we're together in the same room. She really doesn't pick on me as much in person, but then she'll find a way to get back at me. It's all good. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Quick question. What critter would leave claw marks on the landing board? So, Duke, that sounds like a skunk to me. That doesn't mean that it is, but skunks are notorious for scratching and taking out the dirt at the bottom of the colonies and scratching the entrances as well. And they do this to coax bees to come out of the entrance during these cold days so they can fatten up on those nutritious bees um, to help keep the skunks healthy. But it could very well be a skunk. Matt Farmer. Hey, appreciate it, man, very much. If you have a question, let me know. We appreciate you supporting us very much. Yeah, we had a blast there in Iowa. It was pretty wild. Uh, Bob and I have spent a decent bit of time together, but this was definitely the most. It was about 2.5 days, and he's just such a great guy, good person, smart beekeeper, very, very humble, and I can't say enough about him. Also, he puts up with my bad jokes. Both of us, him, myself, well, and Natalie, when we filmed that video on her channel, if any of you saw that, boy, we were just wore out. We were very raw. All right. So I guess let's go ahead and get to a couple of the products here. So I was looking online because for the conference, we're constantly trying to find good vendors and diverse products because you don't want to have 20 vendors that basically do the same thing. And so looking on there, I typed in, USA made bee supplies and scrolling through quite a bit, I found Pierce beekeeping equipment. And this is a hot knife. I haven't used one of these in several years. When I got into beekeeping, I purchased one. It was a terrible one. And I don't know how good this one works yet. I'm going to find out. But the one I had before just didn't last very long, and it was a real big pain in the butt. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So this one's one of the higher end ones that I've seen. They're not cheap, but then again, the borrowing my fingerprints that I've already put on it, it seems to be stamped really well and made pretty well. So that is all fine and dandy, but we will see how well it actually uncaps the honey because that's one of the things I like to know. People talk about using hot knives, but I've never had good experience with a hot knife. So maybe this will be it. Maybe not. That's why we do these videos. Dominican beekeeper, what do you think of Acorn frames? Do you use them or like them? I have used Acorn quite a bit, and Acorn does make a good product. If the bees are ready to draw, they'll draw those acorn just about as good as anything. I've used a lot of acorn. Kamon, are you a deer hunter? Yes, I am. I don't do as much as I used to just because, like right now, we're in the middle of this conference is literally taking just, oh goodness, probably 50 hours a week just on my end. And, I haven't been able to do any deer hunting this year, but I absolutely love it. Pheasant hunting's a lot of fun, dove hunting. I don't do it just for fun. We eat everything. If we shoot it, we don't waste it. Bee bum, hello from Keith. Okay. Julie's not digging the tight hat. Ah, I tell you what, I haven't seen Arkansas play as good as they have this year in a long time. So they were making some of the Alabama fans like myself a little nervous there. Got to 42 Fahrenheit and the bees were out. All right, moving around. It got up to like 51 or 52 today. Saw four bucks chasing four does all within 2 minutes. It's that time of the year. But I guess that maybe I didn't say it. The guy that makes these things is actually going to be coming to the conference. The company's been around since the 40s, and they make a lot of other products too. Not a ton of products, but it's all made in the USA. So I love seeing that kind of stuff. I was really tickled. They're all way out in California, so for them to kind of take a chance on us, I really appreciate them for that. So I'm just kind of giving them a little shout out. Definitely, they didn't ask me to. I don't even think they know that I hardly do anything like this, but that's all right. Now, this is a company that's going to be there. I have not had a chance to use this out in the bee yard yet. It is a Guardian. Well, it's from Guardian Bee Apparel, and it's one of their jackets, and it's vented. And I've got an Ultra Breeze, and Laurel has a Man Lake one. So this is something that I felt like we really needed this year is to have some backups because I'm always sweating through the suits in summer. But you're beekeeping the next day, and with my bee suit, I don't dry it in the dryer, so you got to hang it out and let it dry. It's kind of inconvenient sometimes to wash your suit, and then if you're using them every day, it's so having a backup's nice, especially if you lose it or leave it at your parents' place and lose it at your parents. That's what I did this year. 56 here in Nebraska. Hey, hey. Deer season. Lost a hive from robin. Yeah, that'll happen for sure this time of the year. I've seen a lot of yellow jackets, lots of hornets. I was actually talking to Richard Noel earlier today, about Japanese hornets and other types of predatory wasps and hornets. And um, it definitely right towards the end of the season here in Tennessee in November, we see a lot of yellow jackets if there's a nest nearby. Actually, that was one of the talks that I did in Iowa was on well, I was addressing multiple pests, but I spent a decent bit of time on the hornets and stuff like that. Yeah, Walter. I have heard several people say that they'll really like the Guardian Bee jacket. It's one of those things where I'm going to have to try it first and compare. The thing that I like about them the most, though, is I can actually get a hold of somebody, and this seems like they're a company that's trying to create a good product and has customer service. So, that's the big thing with any of these companies. It's just good customer service. Nobody is perfect, but if someone does something wrong, make it right. It's just basically that simple. It's used to be the way it was very often, but man, it just does not exist much anymore. All right. So Matt says, all right, so you're brand new at this. I plan on buying my first nuke in the spring. Should I buy from a supplier or catch my own? Matt, I would do both. Well, because here's the trick: you might be able to catch a swarm, and that's great. But maybe you won't, or maybe if you do, it's just a little bitty one, or it's late in the season. There's a lot of variables with that. I definitely would put out a swarm trap if I were you. I have some videos on it. There's also some other videos on swarm trapping on YouTube and buy one as well. And then if you could have two, it'd be even better. I can't tell you how often I've done this in several videos where maybe a hive has gotten a little on the weak side, or what can happen is you'll have a hive that's like coming out of spring that's really far ahead. And you need to make a split off of it. But if you have two hives like that, you can take a little bit from this one, take a couple frames from this one, put them together, buy yourself a queen, and now you've got three hives. I have learned that well, you can have too many bees, but it's hard. It's hard to have too many bees. Um, uh, but I would do both. Try to catch one and put your name out there for some swarm calls too, and get some bees. Hey, Cayman, how many pounds of pollen sub would I need to feed my bees? I bought three packages and they have hardly any stores. Well, I don't know what your area is like, Jerry. You know, and I don't know what your what time of the year you are at, but November here, I stopped feeding pollen patties. Now, once we get into February and the pollens from the maple start, then we're going to feed pollen patties in a good strong colony. So, actually, one of the videos that I'm fixing to release is on two colonies. One is the insulated polystyrene because some people were curious about that and how it was doing. It's done very well. The other colony is a nice big colony that produced a big crop this year in a wooden hive, and those type of hives, if you watch that video, coming out of February, I can throw 2 pounds of patties in there in February, and they will eat it. And that I could do that every 10 days, no problem. No less than come back and check them in 14 days. But they can go through it pretty quickly. A lot of it comes down to the time of the year. And right now, if I feed my bees pollen patties in November, they'll eat them to a degree, especially the big ones, but it really doesn't translate into brood. Maybe with Italians definitely would be a little bit more, but I have carnies. I can feed them pollen patties, and right now, a lot of what they're wanting to do is just suck the syrup out of it, the sugar out of it, and that's it. Well, hey, Saint Germain, we're looking forward to meeting you again. That was totally Laurel's doing. She's the champ when it comes to all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, sporting a beard. Yeah, that's me right there. So no, this was I shaved up in Iowa, and now it's no shave November, I guess. Honestly, it just been this whole week has just been nothing. I went to Iowa for a couple of days. It was a total blast. When I got back, I had at least 2 full days worth of conference work, backlogged emails and phone calls to get to. And it's not just because we're doing this year's. I'm already talking to, companies in Denmark and Poland and Germany, trying to get them already scheduled out to come in 2023. Our trade show is already looking really, really promising this year. Actually, it's going to be huge, but it takes a lot of work, so I'm excited. Yeah, so Terry Chapman, he's the fellow that runs and owns Guardian Bee Apparel. So, if you have any complaints with anything, including this live chat, take it out on Terry, please. Um, but no, I talked to Terry not too long ago about, conference related stuff, and he's got 15% off, and you get some free merch at the conference too. So 15% off. And the cool thing, this is what we want the conference to be this year and going forward. You come to it, there's a lot of questions in beekeeping, a lot of tools that we don't know really what they're going to look like in person. But he's going to have a bunch of sizes there so people can, see how well it works for them and see if that's what they want. Or, he's got multiple styles too. So that's what this conference is about, is not just about educating with Bob and Ian and Rick and so many other things, but just getting some experience on the product. There's so many question marks with bee products right now. And there's definitely some questionable moves by some of the bigger companies on prices going up, quality going down. Let's see. Oh, I said it. Oh, I said it. I so okay. The reason I just said that is because Natalie and I have a bet that if I say the word if I now this doesn't count, Natalie. If I say the word "I see" more than 5 times, I'll lose. I don't know what it is I lose, though. That one didn't count, though. That was intentional. Matt Farmer, should I actually take a beekeeping course? Y Not all beekeeping courses are created equal, but if you can find a good one, definitely take it. Definitely take it. There's a couple here in Tennessee that honestly, you spend like 125 bucks and you walk away dumber than when you walked into the room. I have had to participate in one of those, and I had several guys come up to me afterwards, and this is before I had YouTube, okay? And they were like, "Cayman, did you learn anything from that?" And I said, Not a thing." They're like, "All right, just making sure it wasn't just me." So sometimes you go to these things and you just scratch your head and wonder why you wasted all that time. But there are some good classes. Where are you, Matt Farmer? Did you say Oklahoma? Because there's some good B groups I believe down in Oklahoma. Hey Dan, looking forward to meeting you. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be awesome. Oh yeah, Terry. Someone's got to take the fall, and I'm not the fall guy, Terry. Hey, Cayman, how important is it to have a heated clarifier versus a non-heated one? That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that before. It really depends on location and mainly temperature. And if you have a warm room and your honey's warm, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Unless you're trying to move volume through very very fast. But if you're just kind of at a medium pace and it's a warm room, probably 85, 80, at least 80 degrees or north of that. Better to be north of that, which that's going to be fun extracting in for sure. But I prefer a heated one. But a lot of it depends on temperature for sure. I'd say if it's a and here's the thing you have to consider. If you have a floor clarifier like most clarifiers are, and it's on a bit of concrete, then even if the room is warm up top, that clarifier touching that concrete, of course, is getting all that temperature mass from the ground, and so that's where it could really slow things down. I don't have any experience with an unheated clarifier, but those would be my concerns and thoughts about it. Hey, plain and simple. Yeah, we talked about it at Iowa one. I'm going to be releasing some of that, and there'll definitely be, like I was just talking earlier to someone about that. As soon as we release that, just like the actual charts, it's something that I'm going to post on Facebook as well. And I'm going to see if Laurel can get it. I've seen Frederick Dunn. Maybe I can talk to him where he has some stuff up here while he's talking. So we can kind of, if anyone has any confusion on it, we can kind of break that down. But yes, I have several Iowa videos that are going to be releasing as soon as I can get them up. And like I said earlier in this video, I'm about 15 to 20 videos. I have some content all the way from August that I still have not published, like honey extraction work and things like that. All right, let's. Oh, almost did it. Hey, Brian. So it says only one in slow mode in the chat. I think there's a 5 second slow mode on this, Brian. So if you try to comment faster than 5 seconds, it will say, "Hang on a second there." We're trying that kind of stuff out just because sometimes we get these spammers, these spam bots, and they'll just bum 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 bum, bum, and you'll get all kinds of crap really fast. It gives Laura a little bit more of a chance to bludgeon them a little bit. But, unless it's something different happening to you. So Dave says, "I put a rubber mat underneath my heated clarifier." Yeah, no, we haven't put you in the penalty box, Brian. We like you, Brian. You've always been, very supportive, and we appreciate you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, this January, and, yeah, we've got a and, that I think I told you this already, but that yard that you helped me work this year, I mean, I was behind the 8 ball. There were several colonies that had swarm cells in that yard, but we were still able to get a good honey crop out of that yard. It was, I think, 2,500 pounds that we pulled out of there. Now, Brian, you didn't need. I appreciate it, but that's not. I wasn't fishing for it, just so you know. But I do really appreciate that. All right, East Bernstein, Kentucky, in the house. My girlfriend's name is Honey. Really, like her first name, or is that her nickname? Did Laurel comment or something? All right, just refresh the stream. Hi, have you seen Italian queens go completely broodless in November in Kentucky? I've never been in Kentucky before with bees. I have been up in Kentucky, but that's it. They're a little cooler than we are. I think a lot depends on colony strength, though. There are some Italians that, if they have plenty of nutrition, a rockin' queen, and don't really have a lot of pest pressure, man, they'll just go into winter with these massive colonies, and it'll be December, and I'll go into them here in Tennessee, and they'll have a 60% of a frame of brood going on. I'm like, what's going on in here? But they're just like that. Let's see here. Oh, did it? Did it? We're going to be unboxing a Hillco extractor here before long and doing a review on it. John Hill and his wife has some great prices over there. Yeah, John's going to be at our show too if he minds his manners. John's a little bit of a weirdo, but they say it takes one to know one. So that's one thing I wanted to say about the Iowa thing. There's actually a few things. They did a great job. I really appreciated having someone like Bob to speak with because sometimes you go there and maybe you're the only one who. Now they had other good speakers too, but it took a lot of heat off of me. It's not I anyone that knows me knows that I love talking bees all day long. But when Bob is there too, we can kind of split it up a little bit, so it helps me a lot and it helps him a lot, and then we had a lot of time to talk back and forth, and having Bob there too. There was a couple of things that I don't know, and so I was able to bounce some things off of him during like the round table discussions, and you know just get a different opinion. Bob's, in my opinion, one's the best guys to talk to when it comes to that kind of thing. One of the things though that I didn't like about the Iowa, this is the only thing I didn't like about it. They did a great job, but the vendors, Man Lake and Dayton, if you had took away their smokers and their hive tools and their bee books, would have not really had anything beekeeping at all. They had pillows and like blankets. They even had bees on oven mittens and candy and chicken stuff, and there was just not a lot of stuff for beekeepers there. The trade show side of things was really sad, and if it wasn't for John with Hillco, there literally would not have been like any bee boxes or frames or anything. It was really frustrating. And I like to see different things, even if I'm not going to buy it. So that's something that we're going to do with our conference going forward. Is always keep it cool with the bee product. Hey, Anthony. Um, Yep. Keep it real in 2021. Remember, it's good to laugh and joke, pal. Good luck. Hey, I appreciate that. Anyone who takes life too seriously and doesn't laugh at themselves and at the world and just all the stuff is missing the point. You've got to laugh. Otherwise, you're just going to be completely miserable. And I mean, you can always watch my videos and poke fun because there's always plenty to poke fun at. You can just ask Natalie. So right now, this isn't all the vendors. I've got a few pending. I'm gonna go through real quick the vendors. Hey, B Bum. Yeah, there is a video that I got on the round table. Bob was filming, I think, too, so he might have one. But I'm gonna try to get mine up before he does. All right, so we have, of course, Premier Bee products with 15% off if you get under 1,000, free delivery. If you have if you order 1,000 or more, if you get a group order of a couple of your buddies and get 1,000 or more, you get 20% off and delivery. Which, if you order from them and get 1,000, you do get 20% off already, but you don't get the delivery for free. Which shipping anything right now is extremely expensive. You'll have to forgive me. I've, I don't know if I've got a little cold coming on or I've got a little allergies, but it is what it is. Dogwood Ridge Bees is going to be there with over $20,000 worth of lice and equipment. Now, they specialize in woodenware and a lot of other things too. They have a lot of great products, but I'm excited. I asked Dwayne if he'd do me a favor, and he worked with us last year. And Dwayne is a very trusting guy, so I'm doing a couple things behind the scenes to help him out a little bit because he's really helping us out. That's a lot of lice and product, and just to bring that down is a big undertaking. But he's going to have some really killer stuff. And if you go to Facebook and you have a Facebook, and even if you're not going to the conference, you want to see about what we're doing now, what we're going to have in the future, like our honey show, you can go onto Facebook, go to Hive Life Conference, and you can scroll through there and see a lot of what's going on. We're going to have and Dogwood Ridge has some discounts too. There's a lot of discounts in the works that will only be at conference only that I don't have announced yet. Wow. So then I have Guardian Bee Apparel. We've already mentioned them, 15% off, and several other things. Terry's posted that. Remember, anything you don't like about this chat or anything at all, just blame it on Terry. Laura B Vaporizers is going to be there, $25 off their vaporizers. They're going to bring big packs of the caps for them. You get them for, I'm wanting to say $8 off a pack. I could be wrong. Maybe it was $5, but I'm pretty sure it was 8. If he hops on here, maybe he can clarify that. It's in that Facebook group. Hillco is we're still waiting on them to release their stuff, but he's promised me great things, and if not, we'll just tell him not to show up. No, John with Hillco is going to be there with all of his supplies as well. Strong Microbials is going to be there, and they are also one of our sponsors of the conference itinerary. Man Lake is actually listened, and they are going to be bringing a 20 by 40-foot booth. Now, some of these other guys I mentioned are going to have massive booths too, but a 20 by 40-foot booth is going to be full of hopefully not chicken products and that kind of thing. But no, the reason it's so big and awesome is because I'm dealing with the people that worked at Kelly's, and at Kelly's, they actually know bees. And Jennifer and Earl are great. They've got a lot of customer service experience. I've got Oxavap that's going to be there. Um, they're going to have their vaporizing equipment as well, and some of the extracting stuff that they carry. Hat Bee Acres is going to be there, one of our sponsors. Um, Nature's Image Farm is going to have all kinds of bucket supplies. It's 22% off buckets and plugs. So if you're needing bucket feeders, I'm telling you. Oh, and the Man Lake, they've got $30 off on a bag of 50 pounds of Ultra Bee. They have 4 different discounts on that, and there's 2 other products that they say at the conference they're gonna have a really big slashed price on. So, I mean, if you buy a lot of this stuff anyways, it adds up pretty quick. But yeah, $30 off either Patties or Sub. It's best if you pre-order this thing and you get 9% off store wide. So if you're wanting, they have a Black Friday sale, I believe, going on right now. So if you're wanting to get, I think they have 11% off. So, there are discounts that they have going on as well, but you're not going to get that big discount on Ultra B or the B Vels like we're going to have at the conference. Nice discount on my just, regular Vel that you tie down. That's going to be nice. Oops, and there goes my phone. I'll get through this really quick, I promise. There we go. Must have been all that old smoke in that smoker. All right. Easy loader is coming with that big loader that Ian uses all the time. That'll be fun to mess with. Of course, like I've said earlier, oops, I've got Pierce. I don't know if you can see that. This is a USA made hot knife. They're going to bring all their stuff to the conference made in the USA. So that's exciting to have some USA stuff there. Excuse me. Apame has pallets and they have a really good price. If you go to that Facebook group, it is killer. I've got a fellow who's working on a website. We're going to get this information to you. But also on their pollen trap bottom boards, crazy nice discount on that too. It's like I think $15 off a baseboard, and that's a really good price for that. Got Cutler Bee Supply, the ones that make the incubator Bob and I like to use. We have Pigeon Mountain Trading. They've got all kinds of general supplies and also have, I think, a lot of salves and lotions and different things like that. The Hive Butler's coming with their USA made product, and they're bringing a friend that's kind of going to be a surprise new product. Miller Bee Supply. A lot of these companies I've mentioned up here produce really high quality wooden boxes. We have several great box suppliers, and then we got Honeybee Tennessee. Rossman Apiaries just messaged me recently and signed on. So they're going to be coming. Um, I'm excited that they've decided to join in. So we're just going to have just massive, massive amounts of equipment, an insane amount of equipment. Hive Alive is going to be there. Miller Manufacturing, not to be confused with Miller Bee Supply. Pirate Queen Bee Apparel and Randy McCaffrey, the 628 Dirt Rooster merchandise, not to mention several other things going on. The Easy Loader company doesn't make the lift that I have, J Hook Fishing, but they are talking about maybe bringing a jig down with them that you can use to put boxes together and paint them very fast and assemble them very fast. So they may bring one of those down as well. Hot whiskey and honey and lemon before bed, and you will be brand new tomorrow. Well, we typically do, um, well, we as in Tennesseans, moonshine instead of whiskey. That way you can also use it to run your vehicle if you have to. But yeah, I've never had whiskey before, I don't think. Hope my mom's not watching this. No, it's all good. Um, in Sevierville, there is a music shop that carries Gibson mandolins that I can't afford, but it is a must see. Giant guitar and banjo outside the store. Hey, Joe, I've been to that. When we actually scoped out this venue, we stopped by there to inquire about them doing sound work for us. I ended up going with a different company for my bluegrass band that's going to be there Friday night, but they have awesome instruments. But yeah, like you said, those Gibson mandolins, overpriced. So I mean, they are a great instrument, but I was able to get a custom made England mandolin for, well, this was, holy smokes, wow, that's been 16 years ago. Yeah, $2,400, and that mandolin will stand up with any Gibson that I've ever played. But it was custom made by a guy who knew what he was doing. Bruce, Southern Sass Apiaries. You're gonna need to win the lottery to afford everything you want. Well, you and me both. Laurel It's going to carry the wallet for sure. But hey, thanks so much. Again, Steinthal Valley Honey for supporting us yet again. And also Bruce, um, you're more than welcome. And thanks for, I mean, this only works with so many people coming. Right now, with the vendors, we're over 800 people coming. With, by the time we get there, we've opened it up to 850. Now, we just did kind of a little bit of a purge, and I think there was like half a dozen people um, that just weren't able to make it for whatever reason. And so a couple spots have opened up. But at the rate we're going, it's very likely that we'll top out with vendors at 850 people. There's plenty of room in the building, though. So there's going to be quite a bit of stuff going on. And that's, the vendors are doing their things, but we also are going to have some other things set up, like, well, of course, the honey show, the inventors corner, where you can bring and showcase your new invention, or your maybe not, it's not completely new, but maybe like Thomas Edison, you take a okay product and make it better. And then we're also going to have a creamed honey setup going. Byron's working hard on that. He better be. He told me he would, and I've promised it now, so it better work. But there's going to be like a huge license, like 36-gallon creamer going during the conference and making creamed honey. We're going to bottle that at the end of it. It's going to be some of our honey, and that's going to be really neat. I've never done creamed honey before. Thankfully, they have, so they're going to be the masters of the cream honey display. And also, we got a couple guys that do artificial insemination. So for any of you guys who or gals who are interested in AIing queens, I'm not one of them because life's already too tedious as it is. I'll let somebody else do it. They're I've heard that they're going to be at least one of them is going to bring their setup and have that on display and demonstrate kind of the procedure a little bit if anyone's curious. So I mean, isn't that cool? That's what this is all about. It's I don't have all the information. Nobody has all of it, but this kind of networking is going to be so much fun. Let's see. Oh, doggone it, Nally, I did it again. Nally, what are we up to? Let's see. Oh, I did it again. Golly. Hopefully it'll snow so Ian can do his easy loader demo. Oh my goodness. I talked to Ian the other day about what he's going to be speaking on, and he's getting a couple things together. And he was like, I cannot get off the couch right now. My back is so sore. The poor guy was having to bust those loose out of the ground and help the loader out so he didn't, bust his loader up in that cold weather. And that's a problem when you're a tall guy like Ian. That's what you get for being so tall and putting those hives so low to the ground on singles like that, which Ian's course got it rocking up there, but I don't have to bend down that far to get the same job done. Yeah, Jim Hughes. Yeah, Rossman is coming. However, talking to Rossman, they now this was what I heard from Rossman themselves. They didn't say I couldn't say it, but they have like 100. They've had up to $100,000 worth of Maxent on back order, like outstanding stuff. They're not going to have a single Maxent thing there, as far as I know, and they told me there wasn't a good chance of that. So, unfortunately, that's a big bummer. I do have something else in the works, USA extraction wise, but it's I don't know if it's going to happen or not. If you guys can think of any good vendors you'd like to see there, always send them my way. We don't, um, you know, we'll take anything at this point. There's some Turkish extractors out there that are pretty good too. Customer service is key. So Russell says he really, or he's glad that he saved some money on the Hillco stuff. Great looking machine. Great looking machine. Any idea how to get rid of a nest of African bees? Oh, well, are we talking like Africanized? Is this here in the U.S.? Because that's something that I've never fooled with Africanized bees. And if it's actually African bees, like from Africa, I literally don't know much about those at all. Bees absconded in one of my hives. I have four. When is the best time to rebuild this hive? I'm in Alabama. Well, if you're talking about refilling it with bees, probably not a good time. What I would do is just take that hive down, put it, store it, make sure you keep mice out of it and wax moths and stuff. Just, if it's anything you need to protect down there, maybe put it in the freezer if there's a lot of bee bread. Dry combs are pretty easy to protect, but as far as fill it back up with bees, you can stock that. If you can get a nuke down there in Alabama, and goodness, even in late February, early March, you totally could do it. And you'll have swarming down in parts of Alabama in around the 1st of March, and maybe even further south than that, the end of February. So, look into swarm trapping, Corey, all that kind of stuff. October strike. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have bet with Natalie. Girls have just a way of you know, giving it to us. I don't know. Guys just don't stand a chance. I don't know why that works out, but we just don't stand a chance. Acorn or Premier? I would say both. I mean, if the price point is the same, I'd probably lean Premier for a couple reasons. I like that it doesn't use as much plastic on their foundation because it's not like I'm gonna hug every tree I come across, but I do like to use less plastic when possible. I also like the fact that it's got more cells in it. I love the coating on it, and I also love Jeff. I do like Nick too a lot though, so it's a really hard toss up. I feel like with my experience with Acorn, I've never had anything bad at all. But if they were the same, and of course with Premier coming to the conference, I can I've got some foundation I can pick up there, and I'm not having to pay shipping on it. So it just really depends on the circumstance. If you can get Acorn for a better price, then you know both of those are the top two in the country for sure. Um, and Bruce says I like Pirco. One of my buddies down in Memphis got a killer price. I don't know how he did, but he got a killer price on some Pirco stuff. I think he went in with this big commercial guy and ordered just an insane amount of product and got a great price on Pirco and drew it out good. So, it Premier is a great foundation, but it's not, you can still get great results with other stuff too. So I try to be careful recommending product because, you know, it, there's multiple good products out there as well. But, all things being the same, I would go Premier. So Bruce says, I'm going to be getting into AI queen mating this next year. Oh, well, there you go. And I'm hoping to maybe, actually got one of Shabu's. He's in Colombia. Bob did a video with him. I've got one of his breeder queens and his carney one. So I'm hoping that I can do some grafting from it next year. I actually checked it today, see how they were doing. And she's got a nice 34 marked on her back. Or was it 31? Thankfully, I only have one of these things, so I don't have to worry about getting them confused. But hopefully, they'll survive the winter. They look like they had a pretty good sized cluster. They weren't massive, probably about 4 frames of bees. But my plan is to put that on one of these big colonies that I have over a double screen board, and I think that they'll do okay like that. And see, there you go, right there too. So this guy's like, I hate Pirco. Bruce is like, I love him. So it's just one of those things. I've had some people say Premier's the best. I've had one guy say they didn't draw as good this year. And part of the trick to any of these foundations is your bees have to be strong. It has to have a good wax coat, and more importantly than maybe any of that, and you got to have all of them. But a good honey flow covers a multitude of sins. Let's just be frank right here. I had a killer honey flow this year, and so everything drew out really awesome. Hey, Teresa, thank you so much. We appreciate that. That's the best advertising right there is people recommending us word of mouth. And we're gonna do a good job this year. We're putting a lot of work into it. I don't know how I can go wrong having guys like Bob and Ian, and many people don't know Rick. I know a couple people on here do, but Rick's been in beekeeping a long time. He's a weirdo, but most beekeepers are. And he's also going to be our honey show judge. You can learn a lot from Rick just on honey show information. Also, we've got a couple other guys that are really great. Guys like Frederick Dunn are going to be there. That's I've got several guys like that who are going to be available to just chat with you guys and network, and it's just going to be. I've never experienced anything like it, so it's going to be pretty fun. Hey, Bruce, how's things going down there? And thanks for getting back with me on those topics. I've been asking questions from guys like Bruce, and you guys are welcome to answer this as well. What topics, for those of you who are coming to the conference or want to come in 2023, what are topics that you feel like you need to know more about or want to hear more about? Because that's what this is about. Good education, great trade show so you can see the products before you buy. Also, get good deals. Pitting these companies a little bit against each other helps us get some good pricing for us, and it's good advertising. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Ha! I should sport a mustache for Movember. No, no, no. Are you doing a mustache, Ian? Please tell me you're not. Leave it back in the '70s, man. Wait a minute. I guess you're not that old. You were born in the '70s, probably, but you weren't sporting a mustache, I hope, in the '70s. Yeah, Russell, I've used a lot of right cell over the years, and if you have a good flow or the bees are strong and you feed the heck out of them, you can get them to draw that too. Yeah, so we're all looking forward to Ian's presentations, all 800 of us. And Ian, how's your back doing? We were talking about you having to pick up those hives out of the snow with that easy loader, and I imagine you had to bust those loose and all that kind of stuff. So, um, how's that back of yours? Hey, Steven. So, y'all coming to the Heartland Bee Conference in Evansville next summer? I've heard of it. Summer's a hard time for me to pull. I may, I may be able to do something like that if I was invited or something, but probably not on a whim, to be honest. But I've heard they've got some good things going up there in Evansville too. So I've heard some good things from beekeepers that have gone. A couple people know Rick on here. Well, nobody knows him as good as I do apparently, because everyone's saying good things. Okay, yeah, that back. All the bees are tucked away in the shed. So Oak Skiers. So the conference is January 7th and 8th. It's got Ian and Bob. It's got guys like Bruce coming. Bruce, I appreciate you, man. Bruce has got a great YouTube channel too. We've just got a plethora of vendors. I don't know how much dollars worth of product, but I'm wanting to say we got to be pushing $1 million of product. I haven't sat down and thought of it, but definitely tons of product, tons of things to see. Rick Sutton's one of our speakers, Kent Williams, one of our speakers. I'll actually speak a little bit, but honestly, I'll probably only do one presentation by myself because I'd rather let Ian do all the hard work. Um, actually, I will be interacting with the other guys, but um, oh goodness. So yeah, this is going to be great. Oh, it's in Sevierville. Sorry, so that's the location. Sevierville is right outside of Gatlinburg in the Smokies, and I have a Facebook group. So any of you who do Facebook, you can go there. Hive Life Conference, and there's two groups. One's Hive Life Conference and Trade Show. That's kind of like, are you attending that somebody put together? But this one's just Hive Life Conference. If you scroll through there, you can see deals. We got great pricing on stuff. There are beekeepers that I know of already who have paid for their ticket and their hotel stay just on savings. And then you get the experience of getting to listen to great speakers, some of the best guys in the industry. And you're also getting to see so many products like, this Guardian. jacket right here. See if it works for you. They're going to have several sizes for people to try on, and that's the thing. If they don't have it at the conference with them, you still get the deal. You get 15% off, free shipping, and some merchandise. You try it out at the conference, and if they're out on your size, they'll still get you one. So that's pretty good deal. Yeah. Oh, Laurel just posted actually the Facebook group right there. Yeah, Rick has been doing bees for a long time, Dave. You're right. He is old. So old he doesn't know how to find his way onto here, I don't think. If he did, he'd hunt me down. Will you sell any of your honey at the conference? Yes. Yes, we will. We've got a guy who's bringing a licensed 36 gallon creamer, and he's going to be creaming the honey of ours. And also, we're going to have liquid honey for sale as well. So, if people are wanting that, and also, we're going to have a lot of cool things, cool lanyards. This says, Hive Life Conference on it, has our logo, pretty cool. Lots of stuff in the works right now, and a lot of stuff in the works for 2023. So don't forget it. It'll be the first week, probably in January, again in 2023. Maybe we may move it to the second or third week if we can get an opening, because we're trying to avoid having it on the same date as the American Beekeeping Federation. Though that doesn't seem to have hurt our attendance that I can tell, with about 800 people. Well, with vendors, yeah, 800 people showing up. But for the vendors, it makes it very difficult to have two booths and going on the same weekend, especially if your name's data and you're a little bitty company that can't handle two at a time. Okay, so Bruce, the one that you wear in the videos, that's the Guardian jacket, huh? Heh, I never knew that. A lot of people seem to wear these jackets. I never knew. This is the first one I've ever had, so I haven't even wore it out in a bee yard yet. That's why it looks so good. It looks amazing. That won't last long. We'll get it all nice and propolized up. Do. What? Oh, that's where I stuck it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it, Natalie. Natalie, are you on here? Comment if you are. If any, did you any of you guys see that video that Bob, Natalie, and I did on her channel? Oh my goodness! It was late in the evening, 2.5 days. I was just completely, my adrenaline and everything was just so shot, and I acted like Robin Williams is what I did. It was yeah, it was all right. It was definitely funny. I'm just gonna brush quickly over some of the deals real fast, just the key ones. So Premier Bee products, 15% off if you have 1,000 or more sheets, 20% off, obviously free delivery. We have over $20,000 worth of licensed products, pumps, automatic extraction lines, multiple sizes of extractors, bottling tanks, and capping tanks. I mean, just about everything you could want to see, you will get to see it and know if Lysin is the type of product for you. Of course, Hillco is going to be bringing, and still has yet to announce their deals, but John has promised me he's diligently working. I know him; he's clowning somewhere. Um, but John has got bottling tanks, extractors, all that stuff. Dwayne, John with Hillco, and Man Lake. Between those three companies, right there, that's probably going to take a 20 by 70-foot area just in those three booths. That's how serious this conference is going to be when it comes to bee gear. And we're not talking knickknacks. Apame says they're going to bring 8 to 10 pallets of Apame equipment and good pricing. I believe there's $50 off the double deep hives. If you get, and I'll be, if you guys need any of this stuff, I can get links and that kind of things. But lots of deals, lots of deals. And if there's anything in particular that you're wanting that maybe is unusual or big, let us know. A lot of these companies are willing to truck it out. Okay, so Peter Hicks, that's you with Spring City Bee Farm, huh? I'm gonna have to remember that. Oh, okay, Dave Hansberry. I don't think she's on, so you're at 0. Fantastic. Yeah, those were the behind the scenes. There were definitely some videos of the Iowa conference that were very, very serious and bee related. But what it was is we were just tired, and Natalie was supposed to be kind of guiding the conversation, and then she just got a little tickled, and then I just started going on a rampage, and Bob chimed in. He didn't try to stop it too much, and it was that way a lot though. We went out and had dinner with Bob and Natalie and and John Hill and a couple other people, and oh man, it was just a big ball of wax. Natalie must be busy watching a Bob Betty video. I love that burn that she had at the end. Natalie has wonderful burns and a very fast wit, but it seems like when she's in person, she doesn't get me. But as soon as I'm out of the room, she just is like, you know, that Kamon guy. Yeah, what a bum. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Yeah, Brian, there you go. Well, and it's really a team effort, this whole conference thing. The more momentum we have, the better our vendors do, the more people are going to be able to save. Because if the vendors have a really great experience this year, I mean, we've gone all out. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent on the phone with companies that are coming, and then how many hours I spent on the phone with companies that couldn't come this year, or like, we don't really know who you are. Or two, they're like, Swinty in Denmark, that's like, we'd love to come, can't come this year. Let's talk about 2023. And Swinty has some great product, very unique product that you'll never see here in the US. Um, Not yet, anyways. So, you know, everybody working together is what's made this what it is. And 2023 just promises to be, if everything works out, to be just maybe the biggest conference in North America, which is insane to say. Insane to say. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Natalie likes Bob because he knows more about bees than I do. I'll be the first to admit that. Um, he's not as you know, his eye he doesn't get on her same level of maturity. I'll drop down and I'll act like a teenager sometimes. So she likes Bob more. That's okay. She's got good taste. I can take second place or third place, or I don't know. At this point, I might be not even in the running. Um, so what's the verdict on conference apparel? So Lindsay, Homestead Farm, I'm going to meet a company. Oh, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So they're going to be showing us what they can do. My biggest concern, I'm very new to all this stuff, and that's why I'm struggling so much with producing YouTube content. I got to keep up with my bees. I got to make this conference. I've got a lot on the line with my word with the conference. A lot of things that I've promised to people, and I think I'm going to be able to deliver on it. But I just got to make sure that I do. So you know, the last thing I want to do is someone to buy my hat or a shirt that we have for the High of Life conference, and I'll appreciate that, but I don't want to sell any junk. I don't want a lumpy, weird looking hat. So I'm going to go over there and see what they have, see what they can do. And if it's not good quality, if we can't get good quality stuff, then we're just not going to sell it. That's just how it is. Well, it is a little bit, Lindsay, but it was that way with bees early on. When I first hopped into a semi truck, it was extremely overwhelming. Man, my instructor, I about beat him up. He drove me nuts. He's like, "You're fine to drive down the road in a semi with a 53-foot trailer on your first attempt." I thought for sure we'd bobtail, and he stuck me out in the middle of Lebanon, Tennessee, going through the square area with a 53-foot trailer, driving a manual my first time out on the road. Nobody died, but I still have some toenails in the floorboard of that Freightliner. Topic I would like covered is sideline wax processing. That's a good point. Let me write that down. That is something that I would have liked to have known more about when I was more on a sideline operation. Wax processing definitely is, it's a pain if you don't have the right equipment. Sideline wax processing. All right, got it down. Peter Hicks. So if that talk bombs, I know who to blame. Yeah, it's all good. All right, got it down. Got it down. Happy Acres is on. All right, all right. One of the people come to our conference. Looking forward to see Kevin and his wife. Julie needs something for the bonfire. She'll buy that Bama hat. I'll tell you what. So, if you guys want to have a good laugh at me and Iowa, here we are. So, I really should watch my mouth a little bit more. But so John Hill with Hillco, I was fixing to go on. I needed some water, and John, being the good guy that he is, the good Samaritan, goes and grabs a bottle of water. It was probably his wife's idea, if we're being honest here. But he tosses me this bottle of water, and it was just a flub, dead duck. It was a short pass. And being the moron that I am, I said, "Well, John, I appreciate the water, but don't forget, with the passing like that, you could be a quarterback for Iowa State or Iowa." And I mean, the entire room just got, they all eyes were on me. He's like, okay, who is that twerp? And it was pretty funny. A lot of college football fans at the conference up there. I was really impressed with how many college football fans were at the conference. I like college football, so that was cool. Good smack talking. So, Nico, superintendent, in which state is this honey thing? It's happening in which month? So, we do have a honey show at the conference, but the whole beekeeping dealio is happening January 7th and 8th, Sevierville, Tennessee. A lot of people are staying an extra day or two because you've got Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, the Smokies, just a plethora of things to do. And I also did this for a lot of you spouses that have, you know, you know, a husband or a wife that just doesn't really get into the whole bee thing, but you can kind of pass this on as an excuse. Hey, you can go see all this stuff while I go to the bee conference. It's great. It works. It works. Maximizing support colonies. All right. I actually have that written down, but I'm going to write it down again. Vote for that one. Support colonies are very important. Bum bees. All right. That's easy to remember. By the way, you're the guys that wanted to burn my Bama hat. I don't know if I'm going to listen to your request. To piggyback on that topic, maybe it would be good to discuss time management as a sideliner, efficiency. Yeah, that is, these are a lot of the topics that we have written down. Talked to Bob a couple times at Iowa. We sat down and talked for half an hour at least on this, and I appreciate that so much because Bob's just a great resource when it comes to that kind of thing. And I've talked to Ian. We're they're both very open to customizing this conference to the needs of the people that are coming. And as a someone who's putting it on, I just can't ask for more than that. And Rick's the same way, and so is Kent. So going to mix it up this year. Will elements of the conference be recorded and put on YouTube for those that can't make it? There will be a small percentage of it recorded on YouTube. I'm sure we have several people right now who are on that will probably film a little bit of it. As far as the actual talks go, that will be provided in a digital copy. I've already got a professional company hired and paid for to do this for me. So it should be extremely reasonable to be able to buy the complete set and be able to watch that at your leisure. And it will pertain a lot. The trade show, all the talks, probably some behind the scenes too. And we're going to keep that. For people that come to the conference that want to rewatch it, it's going to be extremely reasonable. Thank you, Laurel. All right, got some root beer. All right, all right. Looking forward to the roundtable discussion. So, one thing now, you guys maybe tell me what you think about this. So, one of the talks that I've done a lot in the past is Varroa mites. But I've beat it, I've beat it, I've beat it, and obviously there's different perspectives. So what about having, instead of like a round table, we're going to have a round table each evening where people can submit questions. And it can be like a question directly to Rick or Bob or Ian or me, or just to the panel, or Kent or whoever. And what about having a talk though that is not one that you ask questions at technically, but you have guys like maybe Bob, myself, Rick, or Ian, maybe three or four guys up there, and you have one topic: i- Varroa mites or feeding supplements, or maybe like you guys talked about, maybe that would be a great one for is management as a sideliner, and that you can address multiple things like wax processing and that, and then you can get Bob's perspective, Ian's perspective, maybe I can throw a nugget in there, and that would be a little bit more live and a little less, going through this slide, going through this slide. So, that's something that I've never technically seen quite before, just a, kind of a focused conversation on one point amongst a couple different guys. It's just a thought. Not saying we will do it. Well, it must not have been a good idea. No one's commenting. So scratch that, Laurel. Maximizing, yeah, maximizing support colony. So I've got a list around here somewhere with all the ideas on it. I mean, literally right now, this table is coated in paper. So there's the list on the bluegrass songs. I've got to actually be meeting up with the guys to play some bluegrass. These guys are excellent, excellent, excellent. EB Bud Banger's energy drink for me, like that would, I might kill me. Please tell the speakers as they do a Q&A after their talk that being recorded to repeat the question before they answer it. So when you watch the video, you know what the question was. That's a great point, Melanie. And thankfully, through doing some of these, I have a lot more experience with that. Typically, I'm very good about making sure that happens now, but in the past, I was not good about that. And when I did the round table with Bob, or when I was doing my stuff in Iowa, when people would ask a question, I felt like people couldn't hear it for the video, I would repeat that. But that's a good point. What about how and what the speakers use for mite treatments? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Dave is kind of have one focused on that right there, because mites really is hurts us a lot. I was talking to Bob about this, and we feel like there's a big gap in the sideliner area, and there is. Back when he was in beekeeping, talking to Rick, same song, second verse, Varroa was not around. It was a lot easier to keep bees. They affect our bees a lot more than most people realize. And even when they're not that large, they're just at a decent Varroa population. That makes it harder for bees to requeen themselves. It makes them harder for them to get off the ground. Just everything's rougher on the bees. I don't even think we know to what extent. So, Bob and I sat down and talked about how the sideliner market is really void, and several of you want to stay at the hobby level or just at the kind of the meeting point of hobby to sideline. But there's a lot of things that you can learn from these guys about that. And there's a big market right now for sideline beekeeping. You can sell all the nukes you want. Honey is pretty easy to sell. If you're selling it for like Dr. Leo for $85 a pound, you might have a hard time moving your honey. But if you're like me and you're selling honey for $6 to $8 a pound, I very rarely get that much for it. But we got barrels to move. I'm very happy with $6 a pound. Let me tell you, very tickled to get $6 a pound. But you just got to produce a good bit of honey. So these guys are some of the best. And I don't care. I mean, we're gonna get more speakers in the future. We're gonna have two rooms going in 2023 is the plan, and we'll have a lot more diversity on some a little bit of entry level stuff and some research guys like Jamie Ellis or something maybe, um, and also get some diamonds. I think Rick Sutton's one of those guys, diamonds in the rough that nobody really knows about. So we're gonna keep working at this and keep working at this, but I think we're gonna be really hard pressed to find a much better group than what we have because I mean these guys are not only good about talking the talk, but they're really good about walking the walk. The question is, Billy Strings going to play? Our budget wasn't quite big enough for Billy Strings, unfortunately. These guys have played for bands that big, but they're playing with me. It's gonna be really good, but it's not gonna be quite Billy Strings or, something like Dole Lawson or Ricky Skaggs, nothing quite that good. I apologize. Alright, so hobby beekeeping is a way of life. Oh, yeah, Randy's gonna be there. Randy's gonna have some cool stuff going on. I can't tell you all the stuff that he's got. Idea for speaker discussion, honey marking at the sideliner level. So marketing, I'm sure that's what that's for. Yeah, that would be a good topic. And see, that's where I don't really want to get it to where we have like four rooms going at once because that's awful. Because you have to pick between so many good speakers if you actually have a bunch of good speakers, which I don't see why you would get someone who was not a good speaker. But I think two rooms would be good, and that's where we'll have it recorded every year, so people can watch through this stuff. Yeah, just having Mr. Ed and Randy comparing their swarm counts would be a great time. I'm trying to figure out a way, maybe during like lunch break or something, where we're all sitting down eating lunch and Randy's up there just having a look at the food and Mr. Ed's having to drive Randy even more bonkers and just kind of letting them be in lunch entertainment. Maybe and for people that want to listen to that. I know a lot of people would. Um, One thing that our conference does a little bit differently too is we have 30-minute breaks in between classes. So it gives everyone a little bit more time to buy stuff if they need to or just look at product. We'll have an hour and a half for lunch. There's going to be it's going to be more of a relaxing conference. We're already going to be presenting 12, just really good topics from, guys that are at the top of their industry. Joe, I would like to hear your thoughts on the pros and cons of YouTube for your bees, your family, and or your business. Same from Natalie, Bob, and Ian. Okay, so you're talking like at the conference. That could be possible. Maybe have a little bit of that in the roundtables or something. But there are some benefits, but everybody uses YouTube differently. How I'm using it is kind of a little bit different from the way most everybody else is, and I'm pretty intense. I've taken a break, but honestly, if we're looking at the data, I've produced maybe up to almost 500 videos with live chats and things in the last less than 3 years. That's pretty darn intense, and that helps a lot. YouTube rewards people that post a lot of videos and helps promote your content. And of course, you all have been very generous to stick around this long and also be a part of our live chats. But impacted a lot of our everything. I mean, goodness, this conference wouldn't be possible without this. But with all this, it's a big blessing. But with all these great things that come with it, we need to be responsible with it. And also, I feel like with the opportunities that it presents, we need to find a way to give back. So this conference is part of that. We're also going to be redoubling our efforts in next year and focusing on more information, better videos, that kind of stuff. Happy Acres, even staying a small hobby size, there are a lot of techniques that a commercial or sideliner can pass on to. Absolutely. And guys like Bob and Ian and Rick, and I try to myself, are good about communicating and getting that down. That's actually something Ian and I were talking about because Ian's concerned. He was just kind of running things by me, making sure that the information was usable, and I appreciate that about Ian. That's why he's been so successful on YouTube, though. He's found ways to help a lot of people. Okay, what's on the menu for lunch? Okay, hey, there you go. The big question right there, Brian Reese. You'll give me 1 second. I actually got that sent to me today from my buddy Dustin. All right, so Friday Now this comes with the conference ticket. And Donnie says, "Are you sold out yet?" Not yet. Um, we have like 40 something spots left, and I think there'll be a few more than that open up. As there's always a few people that can't make it for some reason or jump ship. All right. So on the first day, there's boneless baked chicken. Um, there's baked ham, grilled chicken. Sorry. There's apple crisp cobbler that's for dessert. That meal comes with rolls and butter, garlic mashed potatoes with brown gravy if you want the gravy on it. That is separate though. There's also dressing and stuffing. So, for those of you who like to eat Southern food, you're in the right place. That's what we told them. I said, "What kind of food do you want?" I'm like, because they were thinking like some really fancy restaurant stuff. I'm like, think about going to grandma's house around here and what you'd eat. And that's what we're getting. So there's also some casserole options, sweet tea, all kinds of different things. So that's Friday's options. Let's go to Saturday's options. Man, this is making me hungry, and honey too. I eat that. So then the second day we're gonna have smoked barbecued pulled pork, and of course there'll be buns. So if you want to turn that into a nice sandwich type thing, that's great. And then we're gonna have grilled boneless chicken breast basted in Tennessee made barbecue sauce. There's gonna be pies, assorted pies for dessert, baked beans, coleslaw. There's gonna be buttered sweet corn and then there's gonna be some roasted peppers as well. For those of you who like roasted peppers, ooh, we're getting fancy here. So yeah, there's gonna be lots of food. That comes with the price, and so some people look at the price and like, man, that's really high. But let me tell you, that catering is incredible, incredible. We are looking into maybe having that as a possibility next year of having two ticket prices. The problem is it makes it so complicated on our end to have multiple prices. Right now, it's just me and Laurel basically running this whole thing. So I mean, it's insane. Thankfully, I've gotten a little bit of help, and that's been, I mean, just the best thing ever. But yeah, if we have two prices next year, that'll drop the price a good bit, and some people might like that. But honestly, it'll be nice to have the catered food. There are restaurants nearby, so you can go get like a Wendy's burger or something like that. It doesn't sound near as good as that stuff, but you can save some money. Maybe we'll have that option in 2023, and but it'll be nice just to get there, eat, and you'll have an hour and a half to network with guys and vendors and buy product and load up on all that and get some good savings. And then afterwards, on Friday, we're gonna have that hour-long bluegrass show. It might go a little over if everyone wants it to, but mainly not just a bluegrass show. People will be able to sit around afterwards and network with guys like Bob and Frederick Dunn and guys like Bruce and all that kind of stuff. Rachel said, "Stop." Her mouth is watering. Well, hey, hey, um, that's the way I am right now too. I tell you, I could eat all that, but we like to eat here in the South. We're good at a few things: moonshine, good food, all that stuff. Will there be normal non-sweet tea? Oh, bee bum. Oh, I'm sure there will be. I'm sure there will be for the few people that want non-sweet tea, but for emergency purposes, we have to have some sweet tea around just in case someone's having pancakes nearby and runs out of maple syrup. Yeah, what maybe I'll do, Dave Hansbury, is have Ian do a conversation or a talk on Pollen supplements, and he'll say it like 15 times. It'll be wonderful. You need to tell all the speakers to say Poland. Now, I don't think anyone. I tried to do it like Ian, but you either can or you can't. Ian's definitely got it. Yes, more than likely David Spence will be in Sevierville again in 2023. Yeah, Poland. Good old Ian. He's great. Uh, but definitely, more than likely will be in Sevierville for a couple of reasons. Sevierville location is not perfect, but man, the last thing I want to do right now is find a whole nother venue. If we can get a really good price on it or it has something real special, we may do that. But I really don't want to get any further away from one of the airports in Nashville. You just can't touch the prices in Nashville right now. Holy smokes. And again, this it's nice to have it in Sevierville because there's so many other things to do. I can't tell you how many people have messaged us and are planning a vacation around this, or just saying, thanks, I can justify this trip to my wife because she's looking forward to, you know, going and seeing the sights while I'm doing all the bee stuff. Resources. What is unsweet tea? That's right. That's right. Oh, goodness. We have some great food trucks around here that would love to come and set up something to think about for next year. See, that's the problem with this place, Lindsay. That's really my biggest gripe with this location. I cannot do anything like that. You have their food and their food only. Now they have several other options so we can mix it up. But as far as having any other food available from a different vendor, forget it. They will not allow it. It's really, really frustrating. Yeah, like zero tolerance policy on that. Okay, so what's the best way to sell nukes in spring or over winter nukes? Um, you know, it really comes down to how you manage things. And I'm sure also how you run your bees. I don't, it depends on your location partially as well. I do both. We'll do some overwintered nukes. But when I say overwintered nukes, we really don't winter hardly any in a 5 frame nuke. We overwinter them in a single, and then we can split them off really easily. I typically make almost all of our nukes with spring nukes. It's not as early, so some people would like to be able to get an overwinter nuke in, say late March or something, which would be great for them. But why would I do that? Why would I sell a fantastic nuke at the end of March or at the beginning of March just because I can? I'd have to charge like $300 for that thing to get what it was worth out. If it's a healthy, great queen and a good quality overwintered nuke, I can just build that sucker up over the next couple weeks, split that thing, and make multiple nukes. And I have no problem selling spring nukes. So spring nukes for me. And then, I mean, if I've got a good strong nuke in late March and it's a champ, I have drawn comb. I have, honeycombs as well to stack above it. If I have a long, good honey flow year, I can make honey off of them too and split them at the end of that honey flow. So, that's why I'm really not into selling winter nukes that much. And if you do sell a winter nuke early, you should charge a premium for it. If people turn up their nose to it, then keep it. Unless you just have a lot of excess bees. Yeah, yeah. See, I was born in Indiana. They didn't have sweet tea up there. My dad went up there and met my mom and was just appalled at the tea. Um, just cultural things. I think it's hilarious by and large. I don't like sweet or unsweet tea, so nobody likes me. Yeah, the Guardian bee jacket. This guy says the zipper needs some bar soap for lube. That's the way it is with my Ultra Breeze too. It's getting at the point where you just got to use. There's some zipper lube out there. There's other things like you said, bar soap, or some people use beeswax. I haven't really tried that, but there are things that you can use to lube it up a little bit and keep it loose. And I think long term, it's a really smart decision to do that. Go ahead and do it even before it needs it because that's where these suits a lot of times have issues is in the zipper region. And so just lubrication. It really it helps stuff last a lot longer. Yeah, no such thing as excess bees. You can always do something with them. Silver gorilla. Yep, yep. Chainsaw supplements. Do you feed winter pollen patties right now? When do you stop feeding patties, or when will you switch to summer patties? Okay, fantastic question, Ollie. So this is something that a lot of people in Tennessee, well, I say a lot of people, some of the gurus that be kind of disagree with me, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I was told as a young beekeeper, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, we do now, and we love it. I love feeding pollen sub at key times of the year. And we don't feed November pollen patties. I think the bees will somewhat consume it, but it doesn't really translate into brood. If bees really aren't in the brooding mode, they really don't want to eat the supplement and turn it into brood. So what's going to get them in that mode? I have tried to feed it in December. The big colonies will eat it, but they'll kind of suck a lot of it dry and waste some of it, and it never seems to translate into a lot of brood. And this is with Italians. And I fed it in January, starting at the first of the year. I don't really see a big difference. But as soon as I see that first maple pollen, you can feed it right before the maple pollen, but I just go ahead and I just wait till the maples bloom. Once that real maple pollen hits, I mean, it's just that is time to feed those patties. You can feed them before and they'll kind of mess with them, but I just feel like I'm wasting dollars and they're not cheap. So, as soon as that pollen hits, though, they will eat those patties and they will eat them. As long as they're a healthy colony, they will eat them and it'll help translate into brood. And on a great year, you might not even need the patties. There are some good springs where you get some good flying weather and consistent pollens come in. But on those bad years, the pollen supplement is just vital to having those big colonies in spring. And I feel like it's worth it. Smooth out the gaps. It helps some of the little guys take the next step a little bit faster. So that's a key time of the year. And of course, once we start getting into March here, we don't need to feed pollen patties unless maybe it's we see some really rough weather coming, especially on like the little bitty nukes. We have to watch the small hive beetles a little bit, put some traps in those little bitty nukes. I don't really watch it with the big guys so much. You can take a patty and cut it into 3 or 4 sections, help them get more surface area with those. But if you see a week of bad weather coming or more, just throw some patties in there if you think it'll help those. Mostly it's the little colonies. It's the one on the ropes that really need it the most. Big guys usually have a little bit of backup. So just keep an eye on it. It's just a tool. And then after the summer kicks in and we have that dearth period, we feed them throughout the summer. A lot of people say you can't do that. We do it anyways. You have to watch the small hive beetles a little bit. Strong bees eat the pollen patties fast. If you have them cut up into sections, it helps a lot. Or if you make your own patties, say you get Ultra B or AP23, make your own mix. You can make it a little bit more heavy on the syrup side, make it a little bit sweeter. They'll go to it a little bit faster and it'll be more moist and softer. So they'll consume it, I think, a little bit faster in my experience making them versus buying the patties like I do now. But I like feeding it through summer, especially on the colonies on the ropes. This fall, terrible fall flow. One of the worst I've seen. Those patties made a big difference, especially on the smaller colonies. So it's a tool. I don't really feed it much after early October, though. I'm probably into the second week of October, and then I'm done with it. And here we are in November. Some people push it through, but I feel like if your bees aren't in a good shape by early October, there's not much you can do at that point. It's really just a tool and just kind of helps smooth out the gaps. Yeah, what fall flow exactly? I talked to Rick Sutton, same experience up in Kentucky, just a very poor fall flow. Will someone be selling Ultra Breeze jackets? I did reach out to them, Brian, but they're a very, very small company and they're not interested in doing any shows or anything like that. We all know coffee is the dominant beverage. Yes. Yes, we do. Yeah, beeswax and the Ultra Breeze seem to gum it up some and make it stickier. Yeah, that was kind of my concern with it. I haven't really tried it out. So They actually have product called Zipper Lube. In my opinion, it probably works better. It probably lasts longer. I don't know. It seems pretty inexpensive for it. Watch Jamie Ellis's last video on more important aspects of beekeeping, great queens, good nutrition, dead mites. Did he actually say that, Hope Sadler? Because that's kind of my bet. Not that I'm the one that created that concept up. I kind of put those words together, and it was by accident. I just said it one time, and it kind of stuck. But when I talked to Michael Palmer on here one time, I asked him what are kind of some things that he feels like are the keys to overwintering, and he didn't say it exactly like that, but it was basically the same exact thing. So it's not a new concept. Um, it's just how it works, and if you can bring those things together, you're gonna have some big bees, and I'm not gonna lie. Favorite performed pollen supplement, a preformed pollen supplement. I haven't used AP23 enough. I've heard there's been some better results with AP23 lately, but I also think that there's some products out there that I would love to try, but they're not very accessible. This is what excites me about the conference going forward. I'm talking to Cowan, talking to Swinty in Denmark, Leeson and Poland, talking to big companies that make patties. So the goal is, if we have this many people, these big companies are going to pay attention, and this is where maybe we can get a premium supplement. If we all pull together and get a big order, we could probably get global patties. They're actually made with a percentage of pollen sub and have I've never tried them. I'm hoping to try some this coming year, but I've heard good things about them. Now, how much better they are than Ultra Bee, don't know. Also, there's some, Keith Jarrett's product out in California, but you have to buy like a semi load at a time. But I mean, think of it. We could have 1,000 people next year, and some of the guys that are coming to the conference, you know, even taking the speakers out of it, are running 600, 800, 200, 400, and then a bunch of people that run several dozens of colonies like you all as well. So we pull all that energy together and we can buy half a semi load, full semi load, and get great pricing on better products. So right now, for what I can access, I use Ultra B, but it's easy. I can justify that because I can go to Kelly's and drive up there and save a boatload, and I just get a big order of stuff. But yeah, I haven't tried Global, but I really want to. Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go, pirate prospecting. That's kind of the way it is for me. I do a lot of silly and crazy things, and a lot of people get thrown off when they meet me in person because I like to laugh. I like to cut up and have a good time. I like to talk about bee information. I love to read. I love to learn. I think a lot of people though think, that maybe they'll just get one glimpse of me. Maybe they'll watch a presentation, and they think I'm a real serious guy. No, I like to cut up, and I like to make fun of people, and I like to be made fun of. That's the way I was raised. In my household, I remember Thanksgiving, not mine, but my family's household. When you showed up to the family events, if you weren't mentally and verbally prepared, you were fixing to get steamrolled, and you still will. It's verbal warfare from the beginning to the end. But if somebody's not talking to you, that's when you know someone's upset. If they're making fun of you and cutting your legs out from underneath you, then you're cool. You're cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking at the Highs for Heroes event in March as well. I know Bob's going to be a part of that, and I have my brother is actually just sent me some pictures today from Tucson, where he's stationed with the Air Force, and my uncle was in the military, and I had several grandfathers as well. So the military is a big deal, and beekeeping is a big deal too. So if we can merge the two together as much as we can, I think that's just something we definitely need to be involved in. So I'm excited to be a part of it. Very thankful for that. You insulated your hives with your leaf blower. Talk about efficiency right there. It was fast. We use Ultra B as well, and we have been happy with the results, but always looking for the better. Bee bums, same thing here too. The best thing, and I was talking to Ian about this the other day. The best thing you can do for your supplements, as far as supplements go, is feed them. You know, you got to feed those colonies when they need it. So get it on there. And also, good bees eat supplement, bad bees don't. And there's a lot of truth to that. Poor colonies do not eat well. Little colonies don't eat well. They can't thermoregulate. Why are they little in the first place? Bee bum, you ain't got much for legs to be cutting out. Watch it, Keith or Kevin, whichever it is. What's a good brand of oxalic acid? The stuff I used this year didn't seem to get the job done. One thing, you know, I- technically, the only oxalic acid you're supposed to use is apabioxol. That's the legal stuff, the stuff that you can pay out the nose for and just dry your bank account out with. However, there has been plenty of people who have used Florida Labs stuff and had great results. I'm not saying you should do that, but it seems to work for a lot of people. And the main thing with oxalic acid, store it in the house or in a sealed container. It will absorb water. And I'm not sure that affects necessarily mite killing, but it definitely affects cook time and getting it out into the colonies and getting your vaporizer to the next colony. But that seems to work pretty good. See you later, Pirate Prospecting. Thanks for coming on. If my wife will be sightseeing in the area while I'm at the meeting, can she come inside during the break so I can convince her to allow me to buy some bee gear? That's probably something that we can figure out. It's going to be a little bit tricky because we're going to have lanyards for everybody with the name badge on it, and we're going to have somebody at the door making sure that because we just got to make sure that we do that. There's several people that are trying to come in just for a short little bit, and they're trying to save on the deals. I get it. That's it's great and all, but it's not fair to everybody else. Also, we've got to keep track of stuff for catering purposes, but we may be able to do something like that. Laurel and I have been talking about it, and so like if you have a badge and you can kind of verify that just something like that. But we'll have to. There's a lot of things like that we're gonna have to figure out. Have you ever considered saving some videos to be released during winter to give that content we crave when we can't work bees? John, I should. I should. I just haven't got it done. But I promise you next year will be our best year as far as content creation. And we're totally reinventing ourselves right now. And it's growing pains, but I'm really excited for what we have to go in the future. The exciting thing is because I've got now so many connections with just so many vendors around the world and companies. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for product reviews. Keep in mind when I do a product review, that doesn't mean I'm always endorsing it. Sometimes I just want to be able to show the product. Heck, a lot of these products, like this one from Pierce Beekeeping, made in the USA, it looks great. It looks way better than any of the Chinese models that I've seen. The quality and craftsmanship look awesome. But if it can't uncap honey good, then it can't uncap honey good. So it's got to be able to get the job done. And honestly, I don't need that tool. I've got that Cowan Silver Queen, but we want to do those videos because those were the kind of questions that I had when I got into beekeeping. What are the good tools? What are the good products? So it's not that we'll be doing all product reviews, but we will be very, very busy next year. Lots and lots of videos. And I've got a lot of other odd things in the works too. What temp do you run your vaporizer? Ooh, that's a good question. It's in one of my videos. It's kind of like preset, and I don't fool with it. Whatever the Laura B vaporizer is set at, that's kind of what I've left it at. I do run the Pro Vap hotter. I think whatever it was preset at. I remember going like another 30 degrees hotter, and I had really good results with that. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, oxalic acid is a great tool. It's kind of like you just got to use it at the right time. I'm losing my voice. Yeah, I need to save some videos though. Hey Bree, I think that's a B. Whatever your name is, sorry if I butchered it. Thank you so much for the donation. Man, tickle in my throat. I coated a frame with propolis and the bees drew comb on it. Have you ever heard of anyone doing that before? It is easy to apply and free. I have never heard of anybody using straight propolis. I do know that sometimes bees will mix propolis and wax, so maybe there was a little bit of wax in there, and between the two of those things, they really liked it. But no, I've never seen anyone have something that was like you could tell had a lot of propolis in it, and you have to buy the alcohol to dissolve. Okay, you see, that's the kind of stuff that we need to see and learn more about. Maybe there's something to that. Make a YouTube video. Yeah, I'm looking forward. That's the cool thing about the conference too is Rob's going to be there, John's going to be there. A lot of these guys who believe in customer service are going to be there. So I think I want to see young businesses do really well because we need to give Man Lake and Data and some of these bigger companies a run for their money. It'll keep them more honest, or if they or not, if they can't handle it, then they'll just have to go out of business. But we definitely want, as consumers, and I'm a consumer just like you guys are, we want plenty of diverse options. We want plenty of competition. Otherwise, we end up with monopolies and then we get gouged like crazy. And even if the price doesn't drop with having all the diverse stuff, we want diverse options and we also want good customer service. Even if all things were the same, I'm totally working with a company that appreciates my business. So that's where we've got to support these smaller companies. Citric acid could also reduce mites. I don't know. Oxalic acid does. Now, citric acid isn't near as strong, I wouldn't think. If you hit the mite directly with it, it probably would work. But then again, if you hit it with some H2O, that might beat it up pretty good too. Who knows? We definitely could learn more about new ways to kill mites. All for it. And if I didn't say this earlier, we have an inventor's corner. If you come to the conference and bring a new product or something that's actually good, we've got Randy the Dirt Rooster, over 100,000 subscribers. Mr. Ed, over 100,000 subscribers. Frederick Dunn, over 100,000 subscribers. Ian, Bob, me, that are around in 50 to 60,000, 40,000 range. You have Bruce, you have Mike Berry, you have so many YouTubers that are going to be there, and Natalie, Beekeeping Like a Girl. So there's so much of that. So what I'm saying is, if you got a great idea that's helpful, if you have a good product that's helpful, this is the place to get it out. If it's helpful, you've got a plethora of guys and gals that would love to show other beekeepers because that's literally what we do. And this is how we change the narrative on things is by networking and sharing. I feel like that's been the most exciting thing the last couple of years is seeing so many people getting concepts so much faster than I did. I mean, look at Natalie. She's 13. She's grafting queens and making splits. It's insane. I didn't even think about being a beekeeper at 13. There's other people as well. There's my buddy Byron, and he's definitely not 13, and boy, he's ugly, but uh, he's doesn't have near as amount of years of experience as I do, and he's very good at producing quality nukes and queens as well. So sustainable, that kind of thing. So that's the kind of stuff I want for everybody. Need more options for jars and bottles. Getting way too pricey. Yes, it is. We actually have a guy who I'm trying to talk into coming. He has killer pricing on jars, but I'm just not so sure he's going to do it this year. But I hope so because I think he could sell a lot of cases of jars, and everybody would love it. Have you ever seen a Varroa mite on a queen? I've never seen one actually embedded feeding on one, but I have seen a mite on a queen before. It was actually on a cutout I did on a cherry tree that had a cavity in it, and I cut it down with a chainsaw, found the queen, and sure enough, she had a mite on her, and there was quite a few in the colony. So, those wild bees can sometimes be very infested. Random question for some winter content. Interview some of the attendees at the conference and some of the suppliers. Yeah, that's awesome. Good point. One of the thing I'm going to say on that, Derek, is Nature's Image Farm, which is also runs the Contrary Beekeepers podcast. He's coming. He's got 22% off his buckets and feeder plugs, just like Bob Benny uses, and I use them as well. I still like frame feeders. I like having both of them. But what I'm getting at is he's going to set up his podcast equipment and he's going to do interviews of people and speakers and vendors. And so, this isn't the Kamon Reynolds show. This is the beekeeping show. So there's people from all over the country and and a couple from outside the country coming to, share what they know and to network. And that's what makes it special. That's really what makes this special. Have you ever tried soybeans ground real fine? My bees love it. No, I've never done anything like that. Yeah, no one exactly knows how oxalic acid kills mites. Not 100% sure how that works. We got some theories, and probably some good theories, but no confirmation. Do you have any advice for a person trying to get to a sideliner status? Where do you sell your product? How do you advertise? Well, social media helps. It does. It's tricky to kind of get it going, but sometimes you just got to go and go and go and just keep promoting Instagram, honey. Do some TikTok videos. I know TikTok, YouTube. But some of those won't work for you. But maybe one or two of them will click. Getting out there, talking to companies. I have honey in drugstores, have honey in farmers co-ops. You can have honey in antique stores and coffee houses. It really depends on what you're getting out of wanting to get out of it. If you're wanting to sell your honey for $10 or $12 a pound, you can't sell your honey like I do. I sell it to people that go to farmers markets as well, and all these people, and they're able to make good money off of my honey. I sell it to them, maybe get depending on how much they order, 5.50, $6 a pound. I think the most I get is 6.50 a pound on the small jars. But I don't like fooling with a lot of varieties in jars. And I keep it simple. Um, I don't like a lot of diversity. That's why you're not seeing me with creamed honey. That's why you're not seeing combed honey. I focus on doing a few things and doing them as well as I can. I'm not trying to separate my honey into a classification of this or a classification over in that. It's tedious and time consuming. We travel light. We focus on producing a good bit of honey instead of selling it for high dollar. That doesn't mean that's the way you should do it. Big cities can sell high dollar honey a lot easier. I've got barrels that I've got to sell before next season. And so I've got to be able to move it. So I deliver cases. One of our new acquisitions is a guy who makes a lot of smoked hams and stuff, and he's curing it in our honey. And he's willing to pay a little bit more for the real stuff. And man, talk about hurting yourself. So I market mine selling, 3 or 4 cases minimum orders, and getting that amount out of it. They stick it in their stores, brings business to their place. They love that. And they also are making, at least $3 to $4 a jar. Some of them more than that. And I leave it up to them. I don't care what they sell it for. If they want to sell it for $50 a pound, that's fine. But a lot of them are keeping it around, $8 a pound. And then I'll charge like $5 a pound. And I move a lot of honey like that. Keeps it simple, keeps it fast. We're testing sharks with laser beams on their heads for pinpoint mite control. I may have just aged myself. Ha 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 ha. I see. Well, I told Laurel I keep this an hour. I've got to get off here. I'm actually losing my voice. I've never fully recovered it from Iowa. I lost it there, and I have never fully recovered that. But I'm hoping to have Sarah Cell at the conference, and we'll have another live chat soon. I appreciate you guys coming on. Don't forget about that Facebook page. If you do that, check that out. You will see a lot of the deals there. We plan to have a website up soon where you can see these things on a website for those of you who don't use Facebook. We're going to get that as soon as we can. We just have all kinds of stuff, logo stuff, hats, shirts. That's just the little things. So a lot of stuff going on. Appreciate you guys from coming on. Hey, appreciate you, Chad Eichenhorst, for sponsoring Bob Benny. We've had several generous people sponsor guys like Bob and Ian and all kinds of stuff like that. And that of course, Guardian Bee Apparel sponsored Randy, Ed, and Frederick Dunn. So, you know, we're going to be able to get them a nice gift and some extras at the conference. Yeah, it's going to be fun. More in the future, and again, we're going to have it recorded. So I've been told that I should have it within a month after it's over, completely edited and ready to go. We're going to keep that affordable. And so anyone who wasn't able to go can still watch it, but there'll still be a lot of things that you'll miss. So, yeah, if you have any questions about that, leave it below. Thanks everyone for being a part of this, and we'll see you later. Oh, and Alan Wheeler, um, we were working on some prototypes a while back, and I've got your name tag right here. This isn't the lanyard we're actually going to use. This is one from Iowa, but we've got some yellow ones with the logo on it. And then Laura B Vaporizer actually sponsored it, so that's pretty cool. What? Oh, it's almost 2 hours. I told you it'd be 1 hour, and it's 1 hour and 51 minutes, so it's not 2 hours. It's just 1 hour and 51 minutes. All right, all right, guys, I gotta go. Hopefully, I'll see you again. You want to giggle like that?